Hi everybody. This video is going to be in English, and I'm doing this video for Chataigne users. If you have no idea about what is Chataigne, you can stop watching this video right now because you're just wasting your time. Well, if you're curious, you can find a link in the description for this wonderful application, Chataigne, and I strongly recommend you to have a look. Okay, let's go. So that's my Chataigne setup. More interesting than my face, I guess. Well, I assume now, if you're still watching, that you know what is Chataigne. You know already the basics to understand each element in this window, okay? So, well, first, I wanted to do this video for a long time now, as a way to say thank you to Ben and all the community behind this application. So yes, first, a big thank you. You already know we can do wonderful things thanks to this application. And I'm going to show you an example of what I'm doing with, which is maybe not the most common use of Chataigne. And that's why I think useful to share with you my experience. But before to start, I need to explain the context. I'm a musician and an actor or comedian and also a maker. One of my projects is a music project. I'm playing funky, groovy 70s music. It's called Chiqui Pepito Presque Solo. Oh yes, by the way, I'm French, so presque means almost in English. It's a solo act, but not really a solo because there's also Pepita, a homemade puppet robot singer, queen of the funky music, yeah! Images are better than words. This is how it looks like. Get down, 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 get down. Okay, I think that's enough. If you want to see more, just visit my Facebook or YouTube channel. Links are in the description, okay? So, for that project, I'm alone on the road and I manage everything by myself. I mean, well, of course, the performance, I'm playing the instruments, singing, but also I manage the sound for the front of house and monitors. I manage the lights and of course Pepita, my robot. Yes, it's quite a lot for one person, yes. On stage I have all my instruments. I'm playing the violin, the keyboards, the guitar, I'm singing. I have also a drum pad, homemade one, some pedals, some are effects pedals for my violin and for my organ, and some others are for remote control. And I have a digital mixer acting as a sound card as well. This is the Midas MR18, and a computer running Ableton Live and Chataigne. This is Ableton Live. I use it for different things. As a big looper machine, I'm doing live looping with all my instruments. And yes, I'm not using hardware loopers, but live for this, which is much more powerful, yes. I use Ableton Live also to host different virtual instruments that I can play from my MIDI keyboard I have on top of my vintage organ. They're here. Basically, it's one VSTI per MIDI channel. So if I want to change the sound, I just have to change the MIDI channel. I use also Live to play backing tracks that I pre-record at home. And they're here. And I use Live to control my robot. So it's quite fun to manage everything alone, but the danger is then to spend during the show more time focused on your computer than performing and exchanging with the audience. I don't want this, and I don't like this. I don't like when people on stage are dominated by their computer, losing the link with the audience. So for that project, my challenge was to manage everything by myself, but without the need during the show to do things on my computer and making all the technical stuff transparent for the audience. Typically, normally at the end of a song, I would have to make everything ready for the next one, set the correct sound for my MIDI keyboard, my drum pad, mute the unused instruments, open the others, map the pedals to the good looper or functions, which can even change during the song, prepare my robot, prepare the lights, quite a job. So the goal was to automate all those things, so when I finish a song, I'm directly ready for the next one. But in the meantime, keeping a full control on everything, giving me the freedom to adapt my show in real time. And everything without watching my computer. This is what I'm able to do thanks to Chataigne. Let's see how. I'm gonna start with the modules, which are there. As you can see, I'm using several ones. The particularity, they are almost all custom modules I made. And there is something I want to say. Don't be afraid by doing custom modules. It's really easy. I have to say I have been afraid for a long time to create my own modules. Even if I was confident with JavaScript, already using a lot of script all around Chataigne. And well, one day I decided to give a try and I realized it's easy. A good way to start is to take a module from the Community Module Manager, which is here, yes, and to modify it to create a new one. There's also things in the Chataigne documentation to help. But definitely, if you're able to create JavaScript in Chataigne, you're able to create custom modules. You can do it. And it makes things so much easier and readable. It's really worth to do it. I promise. I maybe not describe all of them, but to illustrate what I'm saying, let's have a look to this Ableton Live Control module I made. As you know, in Live, here up, you can define MIDI remote controls. It's here. Yes, so by mapping MIDI notes to almost any functions in Live. But then you have to remember or keep track of all assignments if you want to use them. So I have different virtual MIDI cables between Live and Chataigne. And let's go back to Chataigne. And one is for the remote control. And so I have a copy of all the assignments in my custom modules, so I can use more readable names in Chataigne than just MIDI notes messages. So for example, if I want to control the looper for my violin, so I have a set of functions, so I can select the looper I want. So let's take this one and select the function I want for this pedal, on, off, or clear. And yes, it makes things really much more easier. Same thing for the feedback info. I get directly the status for the play, the stop, the play, the rec, directly here, so I don't have to search for what is the MIDI message corresponding to those status. And then I can use easily those values in actions or mapping in Chataigne. So I have different MIDI-based custom modules, a few one to communicate with Ableton, and a few one for external MIDI devices. One really important in my setup is my MIDI keyboard. It's an Icon iKeyboard 4S with 37 keys and a very useful control panel on the left with buttons and an encoder you can use for what you want. The keys on the control panel are on two different MIDI ports, so I made two modules, which are there. One for the keys and one for the control panel. And now you should ask, where's the point to send the keys to Chataigne? I could have connect directly the MIDI device to Ableton, as long as the purpose is to play virtual instruments from my keyboard. Yes, but there's a but. As I said, the goal is to automate all the settings according to the song I want to play. It includes the sound I want to have on my keyboard, also the transpose setting. So by going through Chataigne, I can automate this, filter the incoming MIDI messages, change the MIDI channel, adjust the transpose in a full automated process. On top of that, I have a sustain pedal attached to my keyboard, and sometimes I found really handy to use it for something else, to control a looper, for example. So again, going through Chataigne, I can intercept sustain MIDI messages and trigger different actions with it. And I can do the same thing with all the MIDI messages sent from my keyboard. Let's say start the recording on a looper as soon as I press a key, for example. So that's why I did this. That's why I'm going through Chataigne and I made this module, adding some filters, parameters and functions. And then I have mapping to this Ableton Live keyboard module to forward the modified MIDI messages to Ableton Live. So to this module. This way, I don't have to take care about the sound I have on my keyboard. It's directly defined for every sound. And I can already control a lot of things directly from my keyboard or the sustain pedal. There are other MIDI devices, like a drum pad or some pedals or MIDI remotes. It's the same approach for all of them. Going through Chataigne so I can control, intercept what I want with, and with a custom module to make them more readable. Let's take an example. Let's take, for example, this Magic Remote. It's a homemade remote, MIDI remote I have on my mic stand with 5 buttons and 2 bunks. And so, which are there, yes. And so, well, if I press a button, for example, I directly have the signal, the message here. And so, yeah, again, I don't have to take care about what is the key sent by this MIDI remote. I can just map directly an action to button 4 from the bang B to something. What else? I said I don't want to have to touch or watch my computer while I'm on stage, but it's quite useful and necessary to have a minimum of info about the status of my system. So I made a little display to know easily what is the active sound, the sound on my keyboard, and other things. It's communicating through a serial port, and it looks like a GoPro, so nobody pay attention to it from the audience. The module is here, again with some function to directly set the info I want to see on the display. Then there are modules for my robot, also for my digital mixer, OSC based, so I can automate the configuration from Chataigne and also control it from the control panel on my MIDI keyboard. What else? Yes, I have also the OS and keyboard default modules. So they are not custom modules, those ones. It's because I'm using Virtual DJ to send music before and after my show. When I start my show, it automatically stops Virtual DJ with the fade out, close the app and put the focus on Ableton Live. And when finished, it restarts Virtual DJ, loads the playlist, starts to play with a fade in. And I use those modules to manage all of this. Oh yes, I have also the time module. It's just because Pepito, my robot, can talk too. Yes, not only sing. And to know if she has to say good afternoon or good evening, she needs to know the time. That's all. And as I said, managing also lights for my show. Well, it's quite basic. It's just a few LED projectors controlled by DMX. I made my own wireless DMX system, so the transmitter is attached to my computer using a serial port. Also, I'm using also the sound card for this to change the color and the intensity according to the audio. And I made two specific modules which are not connected to anything. They are just my algorithms for my live show, which is again fully automated. Okay, so the next part is what are we going to do with all those modules? Let's talk about the state machine. It's quite a long video, isn't it? Well, feel free to have a break if you want. Press pause and come back later. Okay? Okay, here are all my states. Again, just a few ones. Here I'm gonna show you something very interesting. So I have a music repertoire, and so before every gig I have to define my set list according to the duration I'll be allowed to play, the place, my mood, etc, etc. And so how can I use Chataigne to manage this? First, there's one state per song in my repertoire. They are here. As you can see, there's a condition between all those states, so only one can be active at a time. So at this time, for example, this is this one active, but if I active this one, it will automatically disable this one. Then I have this playlist state with a conductor inside. This is where I manage my set list. So in fact, there's cues for each step in my set list, but those cues are quite special. As you can see, there's only one consequence, which is to activate the state corresponding to the song, and that's all. So when I trigger one cue, it will directly activate the corresponding song state. Very easy. And the cool thing is, to change the song's order, I just drag and drop a song where I want in the list. That's all. But that's not finished. When I play a song, when I reach the end of a song, I made a system for Ableton Live to send a message to Chataigne, which will automatically trigger the conductor and will activate the next song in the list, so I don't have to do anything. But that's not finished. If I want to jump a song or jump to another song in my repertoire, I can navigate in my setlist using the encoder I have on my MIDI keyboard. And of course, one field on my little display is mapped to the name of the active cue, so I directly know the name of the active song. And the question is now, what those song states are made for. So, this is where I define all the setup I need for that song, but also the different steps in the song. I mean, for a song, so I will start by recording my violin in a loop, maybe then start a backing track, then Pepito will start to sing or to move, and then I will record another loop, play the keyboard, and so on. It's all defined in the state with some actions and mapping. I'm using different pedals or buttons to trigger all the actions. There can be dependencies between actions. I try to have also different way to trigger something, so if one fail, I can use something else. There's also some security. For example, if I make a mistake while recording a loop, I can cancel and do it again. So I'm using some indexes in the custom variables, which are there. And when I press pedal or a button according the indexes, the function will change. So this is how it looks like. For example, for a song, I will have all those action and mapping defining all the things which will happen during the song. Well, if I want to add a new song, I just have to create a new state. So it's going to be after this one, for example. Set the condition with the previous one. Create the cue in the conductor here. And that's it. Well, with all the actions and mapping to define for that song in the state. There's also other states which are always active, all those ones, those one. For example, this one is for my keyboard mapping I told you, from my icon module to the Ableton one. The others are for my digital mixer, my robot, the control panel on my MIDI keyboard, and the lights. Oh, just a few words about my lighting system. On the sound card module, I'm using the FFT analysis with two filters to trigger some color and intensity changes on my projectors. And between songs, I call back also color presets with fades. So it's all with the modules I made there and those states there also. Well, there's so much more things to say, but that's maybe enough for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it's going to be useful for the community. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Thanks for your attention, and bye!